What's up, everybody? This is Sentai 5. To be honest, this is one of the very rare occasions where I even do an episode review. So I thought this was something special because I really enjoyed the Power Rangers Beast Morphers premiere. So let's talk about it. Now, before we start, I just want to warn you that I'm going to be talking about Go Busters, the Sentai that Beast Morphers was adapted from, much throughout the video, especially to get my full thoughts across. So if you haven't seen the series, you've been warned because I'm going to be talking about a lot of major plot points as well. We open up to a beautiful view of the city called Coral Harbor, which is obviously the main setting of Beast Morphers. And we see the Endertron Towers from Go Busters. They're called the Morphex Towers here, and they're located all over the city. And then we eventually get to a news broadcast that's reporting live from the Grid Battle Force headquarters, saying that the scientists have made an incredible breakthrough of tapping into the morphing grid, and now is ready to share that to the public and pretty much power the city with Morphex energy. We then head over to the Riptide Gym, where Blaze is teaching a karate class, and he soon notices Devin listening to music while doing his own moves, and he asks, "Are we bothering him?" And Devin doesn't understand the sarcasm at first, but once he does, he tells him that he wants to learn a more challenging move. So Blaze tries to kick him, and Devin quickly dodges, saying that was pretty close. And Ravi, the Blue Ranger, as well as Roxy, tell him to back off, which leads into an awesome unmorphed fight. I'm telling you, it was really well choreographed for Power Rangers. The fight ends up with Devin winning, and soon is interrupted by Mayor Daniels, his father, telling him that they need to go. As they're riding inside the limo, Mayor Daniels scolds Devin for skipping a job interview just to go to a karate class, and telling him video games and other skills that he's into are gonna get him nowhere. He's basically telling Devin it's time to get your life together in a whole Wes Collins kind of fashion, which is something I really enjoyed because it's something very relatable as well, especially for people who are fortunate enough to have a father in their life, or just even any parent in general. You know, parents always push their kids to strive to do bigger and better things, especially better than them. You know, that's the best that they want for their kid. And that's what Mayor Daniels is trying to do for Devin, trying to teach him a lesson of the real world. As the conversation ends, the mayor reveals he's going into Grid Battle Force to check out the whole Morph X project, and Devin is very interested in this, mainly because they have a rumored battle simulator, which he wants to beat because he heard it's unbeatable. He secretly takes a photo of his dad's badge and sneaks past through security, while Mayor Daniels is stopped by our two comedic characters, Betty and Ben Burke. Shortly after a brief comedic scene between the characters, the mayor is then greeted by Zoe Reeves, a young charismatic laundry girl who dreams about changing the world with Morphex. She mentions that she trained to be a ranger but didn't really make the cut. This is very reminiscent of Boone from SPD and how he also trained to be a ranger but flunked out of the academy in a very short amount of time. Zoe also mentions that she's not afraid of big problems, she likes to solve them. Next we meet Commander Shaw, who takes the mayor around the main laboratory. There we meet Nate Silva, the child prodigy. At age 10, he tapped into the morphing grid and was able to refine its pure energy into a green liquid that almost looks like Ninja Turtles ooze. He is very excited to potentially have an unlimited access to this energy source, as he claims. The mayor is highly against all of it. He even says, and I quote, "Since before you were born, every monster out there in every dimension, from Rita Repulsa to Sledge and Galvanax, they've all wanted to take the Rangers' powers and rule the universe." You can actually see the look of fear on Nate's face as the mayor is talking. It's almost as if he didn't take all the consequences into consideration. But Commander Shaw reassures that they are prepared for any evil force that tries to take the Morphex. Meanwhile, Devin tries to blend in by pushing a cart full of supplies, but is quickly stopped by another Grid Battle Force agent. He escorts him into the Morphin Lab where the supplies belong to, and once inside he quickly tries to hide as he notices his dad in the same room. Commander Shaw reveals a classified project that will combine Morphex with animal DNA and infuse them into humans to mutate their DNA to become Power Rangers. Nate shows off a vast arsenal of weapons and morphers, and while all this is going on, Devin notices the Morph-X briefly turn purple. The mayor wants to meet the new team of Rangers, but is stopped by the commander, who stresses their identities remain a secret. He finally takes his leave and prepares for the Morph-X ceremony. The new team of Rangers are revealed to be Blaze as red, Ravi as blue, and Roxy as yellow. As Devin secretly watches, he sees Evox appear through the Morph-X and warns the team after his cover is blown. Not believing him, the commander sends him to a holding cell. Nate is then ordered to run a full systems check to find any traces of the virus. It's later revealed that all systems appear to be normal. In the locker room, we learn that Ravi and Roxy were in a relationship, which soon ended the moment they were chosen to be Rangers. Ravi reminds Roxy that they agreed Rangers can't date Rangers, leaving her heartbroken. This is interesting because we've seen quite a few Rangers who have dated each other over the years. Take Tommy and Kim as the most popular example, Tommy and Kat throughout Zero and Turbo, Andros and Ashley from In Space, Tyler and Shelby in Dino Charge, and more recently, Calvin and Haley from Ninja Steel. The mayor begins the Morph-X ceremony and activates the Morph-X tower system. The Ranger candidates are put into position as the morph sequence begins. As everything appears to be normal, Evox appears through the main computer and infects the Morph-X that is infusing itself to the Ranger candidates, forcing Nate to stop the sequence, but to no avail. The commander orders evacuation of the base, and Devin is able to escape the cell, and eventually meets Zoe. The infected morph completes for Blaze, as an evil avatar is created, leaving the original unconscious. Those who have seen Go Busters will recognize his suit as Enter's Darkbuster suit from the final arc. I'll get more into how significant this is later on. Blaze then completes Roxy's infected morph, where her evil avatar is the Escape Evolve suit from Go Busters, but repainted yellow to signify that she's an evil, quote-unquote, Yellow Ranger. We haven't gotten official confirmation as of yet on her official designation, but according to Liana Ramirez, Roxy's actress, she is supposedly called an evil Yellow Ranger, just like how Blaze is called an evil Red Ranger. Devin is able to shoot the tube connecting to Ravi, preventing his corrupted morph and freeing him. This leads into an awesome unmorphed fight between the three and Blaze and Roxy. I mean, come on, look at that beautiful double kick. Soon after, Devin, Ravi, and Zoe are tied up and put into the morph tubes. Nate is able to cut them loose and restarts the morph sequence. An awesome tornado of energy surrounds the three as they morph into Power Rangers. The three Rangers fight Blaze and Roxy once more, this time demonstrating their new abilities. Red has super speed, Blue has super strength, and Yellow has a super jump. With the help of Nate, they're able to teleport Blaze and Roxy into another dimension. After the battle ends, we see Ravi visiting a comatose Roxy, a flashback of them breaking up, and back to him feeling guilty of driving them apart. He then thanks Devin and Zoe for their help. Nate gives a status report on Blaze and Roxy, saying their bodies are perfectly fine, but they're in a deep sleep. The virus duplicated them, and the only way to get the originals back is to destroy their avatars. The commander says the new Rangers will be able to protect the morphing grid, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done. Ravi shockingly says, "You can count on me, Mom." Zoe feels honored to take Roxy's place, and Devin, trying to process all of this, seems to be all in. The episode finally ends with the Rangers being taken to the battle simulator, which was the original intention of Devin. Overall, I thought the premiere was really good. I haven't enjoyed a premiere this much in years. The world is already established. It has a piece of Power Rangers lore, obviously the morphing grid, which plays a major plot point to the story. We have an organization similar to Lightspeed and SPD that has their own team of Rangers. Not to mention Grid Battle Force's, interiors and all the different rooms that they have to the base, they look really well designed. The Rangers seem to have made a pretty good first impression for me. Devin really loves the challenge and has this charm to him. He seems to step up and try to do the right thing. Not to mention he's already shown to be a pretty kick-ass fighter, especially with that first fight at the gym with Blaze. Ravi seems to be a very calm, cool kind of guy under pressure, which is something I really like. I really like how the writers are going to be able to work in Blue Buster and Escape's little rivalry by making him and Roxy tragic lovers. It's great to see a Ranger have a very personal reason to fight again. Not to mention, as a fellow Indian, it's amazing to see a Power Ranger represent my people. The closest one, or the closest character I should say, I feel we got was Ernie from Megaforce, which I really didn't like at all. I felt like he was more of a caricature and didn't really do a good job representing people of my ethnicity on the show. Zoe is really optimistic, charismatic, and determined. She has this very good energy, and her stepping up to fight in Roxy's place reminds me of Emily from Power Rangers Samurai, who ironically is another Yellow Ranger. Emily had to fight in her sister's place because she was very ill. I already mentioned how I saw a little bit of Boom from SPD in Zoe as well, with how she tried to be a Ranger but didn't make the cut at first. Blaze, before his infection, came off as a jerk and bullied Devin, which really wasn't a necessary way to handle the situation at all. I mean, you could argue that the energy, the vibe of that scene came off a bit racist, but we know that wasn't the actual intention of the scene at all. The writers set up the rivalry between Blaze and Devin in the same sense of Jared and Casey from Jungle Fury, how Jared started off as a bully towards Casey, eventually turning evil. I wish we got to see more of Roxy before she was infected by Evox, but unfortunately all we saw was her getting her heart broken not once, but twice. Betty and Ben's comedic scenes were genuinely funny and didn't even seem forced like recent seasons have been doing. So please, Hasbro, let's keep that up. I like the idea of cybervillains Blaze and Roxy being avatars. It's an aspect that came over from Go Busters, but with a bit of a twist. Like Beat Buster, their physical bodies were unconscious and can only communicate through an avatar. Difference here is that their original bodies weren't transported to another dimension, so as of right now they don't have to worry about their bodies being deleted or anything like that. It was also really cool to see their suits glitch during the first fight. It reminded me a lot of the Solar Ranger from Beyond the Grid. I really liked how the mayor mentioned Rita, Sledge, and Galvanax. What's great is that it's not a forced line, and it really sets a harsh reality and more serious tone to the Morphex project in dealing with the potential repercussions. Something I've always enjoyed about Power Rangers is the shared universe it takes place in, and how it's referenced, whether subtly or blatantly, over the years. Also, it makes you wonder, since Beast Morphers is set to take place in the future, what year is it exactly? Does it take place before, after, or during SPD? I think it's safe to say it at least takes place in the main PR timeline. Fans were confused as to how the mayor knew of Sledge. Sledge does make it to the main PR timeline in the Poise show, and the mayor did say from every dimension. That's every dimension. So it's no surprise that someone, maybe a ranger and or government officials, have informed him that other dimensions like Dino Charge and RPM exist and have had contact with theirs on multiple occasions. I'm really glad that they're using the Dark Buster suit so early on in the show. In Go Busters, he was only in the final arc and also appeared in the Kyoryuger team-up movie. You have no idea how badly I wanted the full season Evil Ranger as one of the main villains. This is something that they should have done with the Death Ryuger suit before making him into the Dark Ranger in Beyond the Grid. The writers could have had him as the Dino Supercharge main villain who is after the other Energems in order to power up his Spinozord and destroy the Earth. I can't wait to see where this goes with Blaze's suit, and if Go Busters is any indication, the rivalry between Devin and Blaze should be something to definitely look forward to. We also have parental relationships with two of the Rangers, Devin and his dad, which is highly reminiscent of Wes from Power Rangers Time Force. Then we have Ravi and his mom, who is Commander Shaw. That really came out of nowhere and was a pretty nice surprise. It's definitely going to be interesting. I can't remember the last time a Ranger's mother was involved like that. Mystic Force, maybe? Side note, if I was training my kid to be a Power Ranger their entire life, knowing I'd be the one to choose them, I'd make my kid the Red Ranger. So maybe we might get a reason or some kind of flashback as to why Ravi wasn't chosen to be Red at first. Another thing I'd love to see, and I highly doubt this would happen, is to connect the show to Shattered Grid. The event has been over for quite some time now, so we know the Beast Morphers fight in the final battle. So how cool would it be, say at the end of Season 1 when things wrap up, Grid Battle Force receives the call to all Rangers from Boom Universe's Zordon through the Morphin Grid. Everyone gets confused, thinking it might be an old message because Zordon has been dead for years. The Rangers ultimately decide to go through the grid and end up in the Boomverse with a whole army of other Rangers ready to take on Draken. This would be a great way to get viewers to check out the Shattered Grid story as well as other Boom Studios Power Ranger comics. I also want to talk about the theme song real quick. It's really good even though it's only 30 seconds long. A show's theme song plays a factor in my enjoyment, and I'd say Beast Morphers is very catchy. It's great that they got Cash Calloway to sing the song again. If you didn't know, he sang the Dino Charge theme song. I do hope we get an extended version of this theme song sometime down the line because 30 seconds of it is making me want to have more. It seems Hasbro put in their effort to deliver a very good Power Rangers premiere. It seems very different from the past, and while it has a good old Power Rangers spirit, it can still stand out as being its own thing if done right. I really hope we see the quality of this season get better. I never thought I'd see the day where Go Busters would get adapted. Aside from the amazing designs of the show, I can see why Hasbro chose this series. 3 of the Zords are essentially triple changers, while the other Zords have 2 modes. They're pretty much Transformers, and that seems like a big selling point when you look at it. If you've made it this far, I really hope you enjoyed my review. I can't thank you all enough. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. This was more testing the waters on episode reviews for myself, but if you'd like to see more, definitely comment below to let me know. Thank you again for checking out my review, and stay tuned for more Beast Morphers related videos in the future.